I'm Kate Hansen-Plass, the archive specialist at the Longfellow House, Washington's headquarters National Historic Site, and I'm really excited to be cooking right out of the recipes in our collection. Plum pudding, or Christmas pudding, is a quintessentially Victorian dish. We don't always know what the Longfellows were eating for the holidays, besides a lot of meat. But plum pudding and mince pie are two of the specific dishes that get called out. We know in 1843, Fanny wrote in a letter that she had boiled mutton, roast turkey, a pair of delicious canvas-backed ducks, plum pudding, and mince pie, of course. And that same year, her brother Tom Appleton was away from Boston, but we consoled ourselves by hoping that my brother and sister were together on that day, as he intended crossing the channel to enjoy his plum pudding at her table. So plum pudding is this staple comfort food for the holidays. There are many historic recipes for this very traditional English dish, and I use the recipe straight out of our collection from Fanny Longfellow's household book, which she called hunting pudding. In the recipe, she calls for 8 eggs well beaten with a pint of cream, 1 pound flour, 1 pound beef suet chopped very fine, 1 pound currants, and I interpreted this as raisins, ½ pound of raisins stoned and chopped fine. I interpreted that as prunes or dried plums, which I chopped. 1/2 pound of powdered sugar, and 1 large nutmeg. Mix all together with a guile of brandy. Now, the recipe doesn't say to do this, but I'm going to try a fruitcake trick and toss my dried fruit in with my flour. From the dried fruit, I didn't have to do a lot of interpretation in this recipe in terms of ingredients and weights and quantities. The technique was not quite as specific as it could have been from my non-practice in this form of food. Put in a cloth, tie it tight, and boil it 4 hours. I did end up dividing it in 2 because those 8 eggs and pint of cream made a huge batch. So I ended up with one version that I cooked in essentially a pudding basin, a glass bowl covered in parchment, and a watertight cover of food wrap. Whoa, that looks like edible. And in this side, I worked up my nerve, and I put it in a tea towel, tied the 4 corners together. I did try buttering and flouring and dipping in boiling water to try to improve my odds of getting a good turnout. And it actually came out not quite as golden brown, but a nice shape, which is the cannonball shape that's described in Dickens' Christmas Carol. It looks pretty legitimate. Here's the version with the baked in the bowl. It caramelized on the top, which turns into the bottom. It has all of the fruit flavors coming through it. It's good. We'll take a look at the one done in the cloth. But it's also moist. It's a little even lighter. So overall, it was a lot of work. 4 hours of boiling on the stove, steamed up all the windows in the house, and it had a scent that I'll describe as distressingly beefy. But that scent doesn't come through in the final dish. You get mostly the fruit maybe a little bit of the brandy coming through. Not as much of the nutmeg as I would have hoped. Would I have enjoyed it more if I had a cook making it for me and serving it on a nice dish, possibly with brandy alight around it? Maybe. We know Fanny Longfellow wasn't making this herself. It was a tradition that would be served to her. She would enjoy it. The Longfellows would look forward to it, but it's not something they're in the kitchen making. Thanks for joining us in trying to bake historically, and happy holidays from all of us at the Longfellow House, Washington's headquarters National Historic Site.